Hey guys, and welcome back to G's Autos. Thank you so much for tuning in. Well, I've managed to do a little bit more work on the EB, and as the title of this video suggests, I have replaced the electric antenna in the car. Now this is the original, that's the original unit that came out. Now this one just wasn't working and the mast had snapped. So that one came out, and I put in the new unit. And this is the unit that went into it. Now, you're probably wondering why I still have this with me after I have installed it. I've had to take this back out as I discovered a bit of an electrical issue in the car. So I've bench tested the antenna, that works a-okay, and continuity of the antenna switch is good as well. So somewhere from the switch down to the antenna, or from the radio down to the antenna, I have some kind of fault. Not too sure what that is. I'll have to look into that further and see what the go is. Anyway, so I've done a quick video of a walkthrough step by step on how to replace the antenna. So hopefully anyone watching this might find it useful if you have to do so on your car as well. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and sorry that the video ends a bit abruptly. I was going to show the antenna going up and down, but as you know, I had a bit of an issue. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Alright guys, this is the electric antenna I'll be putting into the car. Now I picked this up as new old stock. It cost me this much. Now you can pick these up cheaper, and you can also pay a lot more for these as well. But I'm going to show you what I'm doing now, and we'll get this put into the car. As you can see, I've removed the tyre just to make things a lot easier. Now, in the book, and people I've spoken to say you can do this replacement of the antenna without actually taking the wheel off. However, I just like having a bit more room, and plus it gives me a chance just to take a look under here and see how it's all traveling. Fairly dirty, as you can see, but we'll get to that in another video. So for the moment, I'm going to start cracking on getting this antenna replaced. So I'm going to start by removing the mud flap. So just 3 Phillips heads there, and then I'll move on to removing the inner lining. Now you'll see here on this inner guard, you've got these little metal tabs. Now from the factory, they're bent back around. So basically they just fold all the way over. Now obviously if you keep straightening, bending, straightening and bending, they're eventually going to fatigue and snap. So just keep that in mind when you are working on these. So I'm going to bend those out, and then there's a couple of clips up here. I think that is it. And then there's just some little tabs here you got to lift over to get that inner guard off. So let's do that now. Alright, now if you want to remove the entire inner guard, just keep in mind up the front here, let's see if I can get you a good shot, where that hole is, just there, and a little clip goes in there, a third clip. Now the clips are just these. They're just Christmas tree clips. So it's handy to have spares of those in case you do chew one out. Anyway, that has revealed the location of the antenna. Pretty crusty under there. So there's a bracket there. So I'll remove that and see wherever else it's anchored to. So I'll do that now. Now where the antenna comes out through the top of the guard, there's a little grommet that sits in there. I've just used a little flathead screwdriver just to gently take that out. Now what you'll see in there is a little retaining nut. Now I'm going to take that out. This aerial can't push all the way down, it's completely just jammed up and stuffed. So I'm just going to get in there and loosen that off. So I'll do that now. I used a pair of pointy nose pliers just to loosen that off. Now that I've done that, that just comes straight out. And then I can easily remove that through the top of the antenna. Alright, so I have removed that kick panel down here. Now there's just 2 long, more Christmas tree clips. Now the first one here is easy to take out. It's just that one that's in further. So basically I just levered it out a little bit. Where am I? Levered it out a little bit using that, and then got a bit more length on it with this one and just popped it out. So that came out nice and easy. So what I'm going to do now is disconnect the antenna cable, which I will do now. Okay guys, the antenna assembly is out. Now there's a 10mm bolt which secures the earth strap, and then on the base here there is an 8mm nut and then a little Phillips head screw on the other side. Okay, now the bracket. This bracket, which mounts the antenna to the inner guard, I had a really hard time getting that off. There's a little Phillips head screw that attaches to there, and it's a little 2-piece clip which wraps around this little metal part there, and that was a real doozy to get off. I had a lot of trouble getting that off, but anyway, it's off now. And so I'll disconnect what's left of the antenna and pull that out. Now to get to that part in the wall there, where the grommet is and the wires go through, there's just this section here. It's not held into place with anything. It just basically sits nice and tight. So just gently pull that out and that will come out pretty easy. A little bit of crud down in there, which I'll probably clean out before it all goes back together. Anyway, so what I've got to do now is disconnect this harness here, the connector inside, so I'll do that now. And here's that connector. So coming out of the wiring harness itself, it's a red and a yellow wire, and then going to the antenna, it's the red and the green. And that's just a nice, simple, easy press and disconnect. Alright, now that I've got that connector back out, I have depinned it. And I'm just putting on the pins to the original harness on the new antenna. So the 2 wires coming off the new antenna are not terminated, so it's easy enough to connect up and do what you need to. So I'm going to solder these up now and then put some heat shrink, and then we can start reassembling the antenna. Alright, I've gone through and connected up the wires, soldered those on, and a bit of heat shrink over the top, and re-pinned that connector. So what I'll do now is I'll go through and feed all this back through through the firewall and start connecting everything back up. Alrighty, so I've fed the wires through the firewall, as you can see, and that bung fits very, very nicely. Now, in regards to that bracket, you do get a new one, so I've used that. Instead of using that Phillips head screw that was in there originally, I've replaced that with a 10mm spring washer, flat washer, and a high tensile nut on the back, and really tighten that on pretty good. I haven't gone crazy tight on these, just enough to make sure they're nice and firm, and everything fed up through the top there nicely. So I've just got to put a zippy around that long earth, make sure that's packed away nice and neat, and then I can start putting everything back together. Alright, let's put it back together.